Hello, this is Tom Davis and welcome back to part 4 of the Davis Family History video series. In this video, I'd like to focus on a woman of great courage and conviction, who not only is a major contributor to Davis family history, but also to the history that gave rise to the modern nation of Ireland. This is her story. Bridget Davis was born on the 1st of February 1891. And was the 8th child of Thomas Davis and Bridget Lockheed. She was born into the tenement dwellings of central Dublin, close to where the forecourts are now located. Life in the Dublin tenements was hard, with families living in 1 or 2 rooms in buildings that were in very poor condition. Bridget's father Thomas was a general labourer, and the family of 10 would have had very little money to live on week to week. On the 6th of December 1901, Bridget's father Thomas was admitted to the North Dublin workhouse, suffering from TB, where he was treated by a Dr. Delahoyd. He was discharged 20 days later on the 26th of December and died at home in Pill Lane on the 28th of December 1901. Bridget was only 10 years old at the time, and it must have been heartbreaking to see her father pass away in those terrible circumstances. However, Bridget was a strong and resilient woman who was very much aware of the inequalities and injustices in Irish society in the early 1900s. Bridget became involved in the trade union movements in the early 1900s. Jim Larkin helped to reorganise the trade union movement both in Dublin and nationally. Larkin established the Irish Transport and General Workers' Union in 1909, and by 1911 the union had 18,000 members. Women too were mobilising. In 1911 the Irish Women Workers' Union was founded, with Delia Larkin, James's sister, as its first General Secretary. In 1911 there were a wave of strikes leading to the 1913 lockout. Striking workers with no pay had problems feeding their families, and soup kitchens were organised in Liberty Hall and other locations to feed the families of the striking workers. This photograph shows the soup kitchen in operation in Liberty Hall, with Celia Larkin, Jim Larkin's sister, on the left, Countess Markovich centre, and Bridget Davis on the right-hand side. Bridget was a close friend of Rosie Hackett, who was a founder member of the Irish Women Workers' Union. Both women became involved in the Republican movement and joined the Irish Citizen Army. In January 1916, the Irish Republican Military Council agreed to mount a joint insurrection. They agreed the content of the proclamation, and Pádraig Pearse, as Director of Military Operations, ordered all volunteers to gather at assembly points throughout the country for 3 days of field manoeuvres. On Easter Monday, 24th of April 1916, the volunteers occupied a number of sites around Dublin, including the GPO, Stephen's Green, City Hall, Liberty Hall, Boland's Mills, Mount Street Bridge, the Forecourts, and Harcourt Street Station. Women played a very active role in the rebellion, with Bridget a member of the City Hall garrison along with Dr. Catherine Lynn. Countess Markovich and Rosie Hackett were in the St. Stephen's Green garrison. There was 6 days of fierce fighting throughout the city. Bridget Davis was on the roof of City Hall during the early stages of the fighting. She watched helplessly as a sniper shot Captain Sean Connolly in the head. Dr. Catherine Lynn attended him instantly, but there was nothing she could do for him, and left him in Bridget's arms on the roof. As Sean Connolly lay dying, Bridget whispered an act of contrition in his ear. The rebels finally surrendered on Saturday the 29th of April, leaving 58 rebels dead, 107 British soldiers dead, 13 policemen dead, and 184 civilians dead. Hundreds more were injured. Following the surrender, the rebels were arrested and imprisoned, and I will cover their imprisonment in the next installment of this video series. I'm sure you will agree that my grandaunt Bridget was a woman of courage and conviction, who contributed in many ways in making Ireland the modern nation it is today. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Slán leat.